Dream Warriors consist of our Lakota Frankie. We have a representative from the Ute tribe, from the Dene, today also referred to as the Navajo, and from the Anishinaabe people. So we're going to enjoy this morning, but as you're standing, let's show our respect, and let's make a prayer with them this morning. Tukashla, Tukashla. Owai wakilel, hakosha kilena. Apetike, ota kilena. Woi pasa maglohipina. Wogla kapina. Lesho olowaki luhiapi Tukashla. Daku kapike hena, trecha peleno kakhi kapite. Boeche Tukashla, letana, chante yushkia. Zania Takata ke umiapi uchibi. Jambet kele Takasa neetka. Takoja kele no lecha. Bota kele no boshia. Toka neetka ho yapi. Chatakasa no kichihu na betekele. Daka nishichi krishni. Letaha lecha. Vichosa ni no king tesha. Lecha no ushia hoy chapala. Itaki ya uyas. All right, sit down. We're going to turn this over to Deb.
Good morning, St. Francis Indian School and Sapa'u. I want to welcome you all here, and especially our guests that came over to the high school and middle school. It's a great honor to have Frank and the Dream Warriors here. This has been in the planning stage for a while, since October. And we finally got them here in the middle of a snowstorm, so we're extremely grateful. And like Dwayne said, we need to show respect for them and represent ourselves well. The Dream Warriors are in Warriors country. I will turn it over to Frank.
Check 1, 2, check. Misako yapi, oyate techa omani macha filo. Hello relatives, my Lakota name is Oyate Techa Omani, and that means walks with the young nation, or walks with the new nation. And that name was given to me in ceremony out in Parmalee by Grandpa Roy Stone. And so I was taught to introduce myself in that name wherever I go. I also go by Frank Waln. And I come from the Hedog community. I was born and raised here, grew up out in Hedog. A lot of you in the crowd probably know me. Some of the people that work here know me since I was a little res kid. But I've been coming back and doing shows at home when I can. I'm a music artist now. I went off to school and got my degree in music production. But today's a really special day for me and for all of us because I got to come home, but I got to bring some people with me as well, some people that are really special and important to me. Other Native artists who grew up in communities like ours, reservation and inner city Native communities, who had to go on quite a journey for us to get here and for us to come together as Native people and just to try to bring our music to different places and different communities and try to bring some healing through our music because our music helps us heal. So I was able to bring these guys with me to perform and then also get to perform with some guys that I started out with whenever I started when I was some of your ages in the crowd. And we're gonna share some of our songs and stories with you all here today, hopefully to leave you with good feelings, some healing, and hopefully some inspiration. But the first person we're gonna bring up is my favorite Native rapper in the whole entire world. This guy's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's a Anishinaabe, and he was the first Native rapper I ever heard rapping in their language, rapping in their native language. He made a music video on a song called Prayers in a Song, and a lot more people are doing it now, and I'm trying to use my songwriting to learn my language, but he was one of the first, and he inspired me. So I need everybody to, let's put our hands together and welcome up Tall Paul. He's going to share something with you all.
Buju Ginawa, Parlin Bijanaka, Jaganashi Mung, Gakabi Kang and Dunjaba, Minawa, Gazaga Squad, Jamaica, and Binda Gabi, Gas, Awasazi and Dudan. Hello everybody, my name is Paul. I go by Tall Paul on stage. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm enrolled in the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, and I'm of the Bullhead clan. And I'm here to share a little bit of my story, but also to perform an acapella for y'all real quick. But before I get into that, can I get y'all help with something? Can y'all repeat after me? So I'm gonna say, I know I can, and I need y'all to repeat this whole thing after me, all right? So let's start it out. I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work harder, then I'll be where I wanna be. All right, so I need y'all to take it up a notch this next time, all right? So we're gonna get loud this time. I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work harder, then I'll be where I wanna be. And that is so true. All right, one more thing. When I say dream, can y'all say warriors? Dream. 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 There you go. All right, yeah, we see y'all out of St. Francis warriors, so it's only right I did that, right? All right. So, yeah, getting back to my story a little bit, you know, I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A lot like a lot of Native kids, you know, do and have grown up. I grew up without a father, you know, he was in and out of prison. I was raised by my mom, and I was surrounded by like poor influences as a young kid, you know, abusive men and just neglectful family members in general, people involved in gangs and things like that. But one of the things that I escaped to was sports. So I was always a big sports fan, you know, I played two-hand touch football in the street in South Minneapolis a lot with my older brothers and my community friends. And I would watch basketball and football on TV. And like my biggest role models as a kid were like Kevin Garnett, Randy Moss, you know, because those were the athletes who were famous on my favorite teams. But then I started to wonder, you know, why aren't there any famous Native athletes, you know, at my age? Why don't I see any people like me, you know what I mean? And then I found out about this guy named Jim Thorpe, and he's from Oklahoma, and I found out that he won an Olympic gold medal in 1912, and that he was a Major League Baseball player, an NFL football player, and Hall of Famer, you know, and he was a ballroom dance champion. He got offered like a $50,000 boxing contract when he wasn't even a boxer. So he was just like a big deal back in the early 1900s, and he's arguably the greatest athlete of all time, and he was just a huge inspiration for me when I was a kid growing up because I was such a sports fanatic and football player. So I just want to kick this off with an a cappella about Jim Thorpe, and this is from a song. It's called Someone Great Who Looked Like Me. It goes like this. Kick back in my time machine, reminiscing everything was so promising. Siblings let me win so I would feel like I was king. Caught the piss, ran it in and I was high as he. Who's kneeled down when I've cried about the sky to me. Like God the grid, I am about my highest being. Fell in love with the sport when I was high as knees. Then I learned to Jim Thorpe and I knew I could beast. Blow up and get the paper like them Shaka peas. Go up to snag the ball, I yell like Moss and Flea. Show up, I'll be shown up because I've got to piece. That was the Jim Thorpe effect of my philosophy. But somewhere down the line I must have lost the beat. Started going for my feet like I forgot my teeth. Jim Thorpe isn't in the public conscious P. All I'd ever see was black and white on colored screens. All I hear about is cheese, but they're all long deceased. Man, I wish I could have seen you play ball on TV. I wish that you would see the same notoriety the mass media has given all these other athletes. I just needed someone great who looked like me. Jim Thorpe, you could be my Muhammad Ali. Afflicted with addiction, alcoholic like Pete. No submitting, both spitting up in college like G's. My focus not there, we probably both got B's. You're the star RB. I'd skip the smoke trees. When I finally got sober, I became an MC. Messing up on stage cause I care what people think. I needed your influence, I don't care what people think. See, for me to feel great, man, I needed that drink. Graduated school and flushed the lick down the sink. Now I gotta be you for kids who wanna be me. So that's... So like I said, Jim Thorpe was a major inspiration for me. And you know, I've taken it upon myself to try to be an inspiration for youth as well, you know, cause growing up I needed that. And you know, you'll see these memes out there that'll say like, be the person you needed as a kid. And that was really a big motivation for me, you know, to try to be that. So that's why I travel with these guys and speak to the youth and perform for them. And I'm coming from a place where I was surrounded by negative influences, like I said, and as I got older, I made some mistakes myself, but I learned from them. You know, I had a lot of struggles with alcohol, and things like that. And now I'm almost 10 years sober. I take care of my son. I graduated from the University of Minnesota. I even made the dean's list 2 or 3 times, you know, so. And I'm still not a perfect human being, you know, like nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I still have fractured relationships and different flaws, you know, but I'm so much better than I was when I was making those mistakes as a teenager. And with that, I will pass it on to my sister, Lila June.
Woo! Give it up for Tall Paul. Yeah. Ja, het aroshidene nanisht tchachilina shridon haskaidene bashishi ashi hedishiche belagana dashinal Taos, New Mexico date na sha akut ego dene as anishli. Did anyone recognize my language I was speaking? Couple people? Alright, I'm from the Dene Nation. We are native to what is now called New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. But we call it Dene Bekeya, Denetra, the people's land. I'm really happy to be here in Frank's homeland, Sichangu territory. I often say whenever I'm in Lakota territory that I say Wopila Tonka, because actually, even though I'm Dene, your people were generous enough to let me go to your sweat lodges and your sun dances. And just like these guys, I had a really hard upbringing, and I just barely survived my childhood. And so your sun dances really saved my life, and your homblecha has really saved my life. So say Wopila Tonka to your hearts. So the song I want to sing is about really having the courage to speak out about our wounds. For a long time, I was abused and damaged growing up, and damage was so normal that I didn't even realize I was being damaged. But for instance, when I was growing up as a young girl, there was always alcohol and drugs around me since the day I was born, 24/7. And so that was my life, and I didn't know as a child that that's actually not normal to grow up around, and it actually has negative effects. And so I didn't know about that, but in addition to that, unfortunately, I experienced a lot of child abuse. Things that aren't supposed to happen to children happened to me, and people used my body in really disrespectful ways and really, really hurt me. And so as I got older, I started to do drugs at age 11, and I started to drink at age 12. And I even got into very hard drugs. I did meth, I did heroin, I did all the really intense drugs. And I also was getting abused along the way. You know, in our cultures, we say that women are sacred, but because of the U.S. government and the white culture that came here and hurt our ancestors, because the white people were hurt themselves, they were hurt by the Romans and other things, and they were damaged. But because of that, they passed on those cycles to us, and then those cycles are now being passed to our children. So it's really hard to be a Native person because you inherit all of these violent cycles, and it's up to us to heal them so that we don't pass them on to our children. And we're never going to be perfect, like Paul said, but at least we can improve with each generation, and we can take care of each generation a little better than what we had it. And so just know that if you have experienced this abuse, or even if you have done this abuse yourself, it is not your fault. It's the fault of colonization and what the US government has done to us. We are not the problem. Colonization and the history of torture that our people have been through, that is the problem. And so this song is called I Have Nothing But Love For You. And it's a song to someone that I love very much, who was very scared to talk about his trauma as a child. And I just wanted him to know that he's safe to share his secrets with me. He's safe to speak these wounds out into the open, because my elders tell me that when we can speak about it, we can heal from it. And even if you don't feel comfortable speaking it, even writing it, even if no one ever reads it, just write it down, what happened to you. Get it out of your system, because when you speak it and you write it, you're literally purging it out of you. and you're seeing it on paper, and you see that you really aren't as bad as you thought you were, and that maybe you don't have to be forgiven, but maybe you need to be forgiving others for what they did. And so with that, I'm gonna get my guitar and sing it, and also just say that as I started growing older, that abuse that I suffered, I didn't tell anyone, because I was just like, oh, you know, I don't want people to know the weird stuff I've been through. Maybe they'll think I'm weird, you know. But then I started to realize that just because weird stuff happened to me doesn't mean I'm weird. It means the world did that to me. It's not for me to feel bad about. And so I started doing more drugs and more alcohol because I wasn't telling anyone the abuse I'd been through. I didn't even tell myself. I hid it from myself, like, oh no, that's fine, that didn't hurt, that was normal. Until it all got really bad and I had to go on home blecha and ask for sobriety. And that was a while ago, but December of last year, last month, I celebrated 6 years of complete sobriety. Yeah, and I really thank the Lakota people for helping me have just a Vision Quest time by myself to pray. You know, that's really all I needed, was enough time to be sober just to realize I needed to pray to get sober. And I thank all of you as youth, because you're the reason why I get sober every day, because I wanted to be able to stand up here and say that for you. And let you know you don't have to live with that stuff. Nothing but love for you. I got nothing but love for you. Got nothing but love for you. I got nothing but love for you. So come and show me who you are. Come and show me your battle scars. I promise you, they do not define who you are. I know it's hard to step into the light sometimes. It's hard to show the world all these wounds. But if you could just trust that we love you all the same, then you could come forward and lay down your shame. So come and show me where you've been. Come, those scars are resilience written on your skin. Your scars, I so admire them. They're so beautiful, yes they are. I wanna show you that all the things you're so scared of are not that bad. And if you just speak it out into the open, you'll find that love is there to catch you like the ocean. So come and dive into it with me. Come, become a creature of the sea. 'Cause there's nothing but love here, nothing but love here for you and me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come and be free, bring all your secrets to me. Come and be free, bring all your secrets to me. 'cause it wasn't your fault. No, it wasn't your fault. You told me once you to think it's all your fault. But Creator wants you to know it isn't your fault. So come and show me where you've been. Those scars are resilience written on your skin. Your scars, I so admire them. They're so beautiful, yes you are. Thank you. One quick thing I'll just say real quick before I introduce the next musician is that all of the abuse that happened to me as a woman, I blamed it all on myself, but my elders told me, you know, you are not your body, you are your spirit. So even though they did bad things to your body, they can never, ever, ever touch you. They can never touch your spirit. And so she said, don't even worry about it, they never touched you. You're not less of a woman, you're not less of a person. It didn't change you, it didn't rearrange you. You are just as holy and sacred as the beautiful day that you were born. And they also told me that in order to fight for your people, you had to get rid of those chemicals in your system. So I wanted to fight for all of you, and that's why I put down the alcohol, I put down the drugs, so I could be high on music and high on the love that I have for all of you. So 1 second real quick. So everyone, please give it up for Taniya Winder, my sister from Southern Ute Tribe.
Mike, Nunania Taniya Winder, Nunania Tumut Wachich Mamach. I just introduced myself in Ute. I said my name is Taniya. My Indian name is Winterbird Woman. It was gifted to me by my great-grandmother. It means during the winter when all of the other birds leave that the winter bird continues to stay to bring song and music and healing to the people. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about me and about the song I'm going to share with you all. So I grew up on the Southern Ute Reservation, but I'm enrolled Duckwater Shoshone. I'm also Pyramid Lake Paiute, Dene, and Black. So I grew up mixed with a bunch of different tribes, and I grew up on the Southern Ute Reservation. And for me, I just feel that I'm supposed to share with you all just a little bit about like my household. So I grew up with my parents were divorced, and we grew up on my father's reservation. So even though my parents were divorced, we all had to live in the same house just because, you know, there's limited housing on the res. And so my parents never talked. My dad, he did a lot of drugs, and I felt like I had to be a parent a lot of the time. I would have to make sure he wasn't on the phone, eating our food, running up our bills. And so home never felt like a safe place to me, but school did. I loved school. I did really good in school, and I just knew that school was gonna be my way out. I didn't know my way out of what, I just knew it was gonna be my way out. So I made sure I did good, got good grades, and I never really told my friends what was going on because my res is really small. Like, it's so small, like everybody knows everybody's business, and I knew if I shared what was going on at home that everyone would know and my mom would get mad at me for sharing. So I always think it's interesting that I get to come to so many different reservations and communities and share my story just because I grew up in silence. I grew up carrying all of that stuff inside of me, and I never really cried. You know, even at funerals, I'd lost a lot of relatives to drunk driving accidents and things like that. By the time I was a freshman in high school, I'd been to more funerals than I could count on my fingers and toes of people who were close to me, and I just became so numb to that. And I always thought I was gonna be one of those people who was never gonna drink. I could be this old cool grandma or auntie saying I'd never touched alcohol. And that was the plan for a long time, but just stuff at home, you know, that's why it's important to tell people, like tell your teachers, tell someone you trust if home is not a safe place or there's stuff you're going through, because as Indigenous people, like we can't do anything alone. That's why we're all up here together, because we support each other, we're a family in that way. So I never told anyone what was going on. It built up. And like Paul and Lila, like I also started drinking. I had my first drink when I was 14 years old at a party where parents were present, which now as an adult, I'm like, I don't think that's the healthiest thing at all. And so the first time I got drunk, I blacked out. Like I got really drunk. Bad things also happened to me. Disrespectful things happened to my body. And again, I didn't say anything, but I still kept focusing on school. And I suppose what I want to share is that it doesn't matter how successful you are or how much like you have it together, like you can't outrun your problems and you can't outrun your past. So I was really lucky. I got the Gates Scholarship like Frank. I was able to go to Stanford University on my scholarship because I wanted to be a lawyer, and my goal was to like free Leonard Peltier one day. But I just, I started drinking again at college. I was studying to be a lawyer, and when I was in my junior year, my best friend, who is from the 3 affiliated tribes in North Dakota, he committed suicide on campus. And I know that's such a heavy topic to say, but I know it's important to say in Indian country and for anybody growing up on a reservation, because suicide, it's everywhere, it's out there, it's out to get us because we have such bright lights. You all are such bright lights, you have such amazing futures. And my friend taking his life, it affected me in ways I didn't know that it would affect me. Like it really took a piece of my heart. And I know he got to that place because he just thought like that was the easiest thing to do, that was the only option that he had because he was just in so much pain. But I don't think he realized just how much him leaving the world would just break so many different hearts. And I just want to share that in case any of you have thought about hurting yourself or you know someone who's thinking about it, like make sure that you know that you were born for a reason. And even though it's hard, like that just means you have that much light inside of you. And Creator's chosen you for a specific path and a specific purpose. And it's never okay to give up and to reach out to people if you need help. So after my friend died, I started writing poetry, and poetry really helped me heal. And only this year did I decide to get sober too, because my friend killing himself, that's what made me want to work with Native youth. I wanted to change my life and to not be a lawyer anymore, but working with youth was what I wanted to do because losing my friend just broke my heart and it hurt me so much that that was the only way I knew how to survive, was to serve our youth and to always share these stories and to do whatever I could to make sure no one ever killed themselves. And so now I work at an Upward Bound program. I'm 1 year sober actually this week, so I'm really grateful to be here with you all. But working with kids, I work with high school kids, and I've been doing it for 10 years now. And you guys go through so much, like a lot of my students, like I've just seen them fall to pieces if their parents choose alcohol over them, choose drugs over them, choose boyfriends or girlfriends over them, and not really think about the kids and their well-being. And sometimes it's just really heartbreaking, the things that you have to go through, the bullying, just so much. And so for me, like sometimes when you feel like there's no way out and there's nothing else you can do, like just remember the importance of prayer and that your ancestors are always with you. So I'm gonna share with you guys, I just started playing guitar, but I'm gonna share with you guys a song I wrote, and it's called Pray For You. So for this one, like you'll hear, at least for the young men out there, like I really feel like you guys have it harder because girls, like we're taught like to love, to feel, to share our emotions, and like Indigenous men, like Native men and boys, like I think you're taught like it's not manly to cry, it's not manly to share your feelings, and I think that's heartbreaking to me as well. And just to know that it's okay to cry, it's okay to share your emotions, and it's okay to ask for help for everybody. So that's part of this song as well. He told me that he just wasn't enough. Gravy, please send light to the ones I love. There is love. This is love. All I could do is pray. I pray, I pray, I pray for you. All I could do is pray. I pray for you. I pray for you. I pray for you. I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. Thank you. Next, I'm gonna welcome up some awesome people. So you might not have heard of them, and if you haven't, definitely check them out. Some of my favorite artists right here, but give it up for Rolly Raps and Frank.
Check. How Midaki Api. My name's Colin J. Whirlwind Soldier. You might know me as Rolly. I'm a DJ at Hits 96, right up here at the radio station. I also do production work for 88.1 Queer Radio. And what else? I say I go by Rolly, Rolly Raps, Rolly J, Rolly Jovito, Rolly Nova. What else I got? What else?
Rolly, little Rolly.
Yeah, Rolly Chulo. No, I grew up here on the Rosebud Reservation. I went to school at Todd County, graduated, and growing up, I made a lot of mistakes. I was always getting in trouble and everything, and if you see me nowadays, hopefully you see a responsible young man. It's what I strive to be every day. I try to do my best. The main message I wanted to tell you guys is, I just want you guys to try. Whatever it is in life, whether it be going to college, sports, just try and keep trying over and over again. My sisters hear this from me all the time, but believe and you will achieve. That's the hardest part, is believing in yourself. Never ever has anybody made a buzzer beater without believing in themselves. You have to believe that you're gonna do what it is you're setting out to accomplish. During lunch, I always work out over here in the gym. I don't know who all sees me. I kind of sneak in through the side door and get that lift in. But where was I going with that? But whenever I talk to you guys, a lot of you say things like, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm just a res kid. I come from a poor family." None of that stuff should be able to stop you from achieving anything, really. Success is whatever you want to make it. Success could be just staying home, taking care of your kids. That's probably the biggest success right there. That's what I try to do every single day. I have 3 kids I take care of. My oldest son's here right now, Carson. And my daughter Aubrey Lynn, my youngest boy, Cannon. And I'm just now getting back into school. I really messed up my school whenever I was younger. In college, I didn't show up to my classes or anything, so I was looking at my transcript, I got all F's and stuff, but I'm back at it and I'm striving. I'm pushing forward to better myself every day. I don't know how long I've been sober, but I know for a fact today I'm sober. I haven't drank in a very long time. It's got to be a couple years by now. I'm not counting or anything. But the thing I strive for is happiness. as long as I'm happy, I feel like I've succeeded. I feel like I'm doing good. And that's what I want for all of you guys. Find your happiness, find what makes you happy, and try to encourage each other. If you can help out somebody else, that's the best thing you can do. Help each other out. We all need to get out of here. We need to better this reservation.
Should we introduce Basements?
Yeah, the song we're about to do is called Basements. We made this song about 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever Frank messaged me, he said, hey, that instrumental I sent you, because I was already listening to it, kind of thinking of what I was gonna write. And he said, with this instrumental, kind of talk about your past life, the way you used to be, how it was whenever we first started making music. I don't know how or why, but like whenever I first started making music, our little studios were always set up in basements. We were in my sister Bobby, her and her husband Dre. We were in their basement whenever we started making music as Nake Nula Waln. And where else? At Gunnar's house, his little studio was in the basement also. So we made a song called Basements, and we're talking about when we first started making music.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off what Rolly was saying about trying and working really hard, because like you said, we started out making music together, and I'm not going to say this to impress you guys, but to inspire you guys. And now, you know, that music that we started together and we make together takes me all around the world. You know, I started out in a basement in Hedog on my laptop making songs because it made me feel good, like he said. And now those songs have taken me to Paris, France. I've been to Germany. I've been to England. I get to go all around the country and perform my songs for people and do what I love. And I never in a million years thought I would be doing this. I just thought I was some little res kid from Hedog that wasn't worth anything. And I was actually ashamed of myself. You know, I was ashamed of certain things about me. And this song is about overcoming that by just working hard. It's called Basements because we lived, eat, slept, and breathed in that basement. We worked on music every day, and that's how we got to where we're at. And so let that be a lesson that if you want to achieve something, work at it every day. And we dedicate this song to our brothers Dre and our late brother Tom, who was in a group with us. Come down to the dungeon now. Come down to the dungeon now.
Yeah.
When darkness comes around.
Yeah.
Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Cold winter days and we're in the basement. Cold winter days and we're in the basement. Just cooking up that native mix. Cooking up that native mix. Cooking up that native mix. Trying to get this fire lit. I left school just to follow my flow. Then why she choose with draining my soul. Landed me out in Chicago. Never ever saw a city so cold. I ain't never had nothing but my music and my tribe. Young storyteller coming from the res live. There's only so much I can even describe, so I spit rhymes as good as the government lies. Save money just so I can build a studio. Build a studio so I can save money. Cause on the res ain't no one have money. Now my cousin's basement is a studio. Star quilts, full booth, write a song a day. Never ever thought our music would be on its way. All I do is ghost out in the basement. I don't ever see the light of day. Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Cold winter days and we're in that basement. Cold winter days and we're in that basement. Just cooking up that native mix. Cooking up that native mix. Trying to get this fire lit. I got one more verse. What it means, chasing lonely res kid dreams. Nights banging out beats on that laptop screen. With nothing but your heart telling you you're right. I had to go through the dark just to find my life. Shout out my mother and my aunties cause they raised us all. To the settler colonial state I pray it fall. I'm from the res, born bred and raised on ball. That means I bled, till shed over beats I saw. Yeah. so I ain't one to judge. Loved ones doing time, used to came to drugs. We used to run around the red, now we pray and smudge. Our grandparents from the church used to pray for us. Concentration camp crew never make the news. These settlers with the game when they make the rules. Our cultures hold the truth, so take the jewel. The fires in our youth ancestors return soon. Hot summer nights, and we in the basement. Yeah. Hot summer nights and we in the basement. Yeah. Cold winter days and we in the basement. Yeah. Cold winter days and we in the basement. Just cooking up that native mix. Cooking up that native mix. Trying to get this fire lit. Alright. Trying to get this fire lit. I was 17.
With better things ahead of me. Instead of being focused on the music, I was set on being dope boy, party hard. I wasn't ready mentally. I dropped pills to pop the pain pills. I got with temporary fixes. I'm stuck inside the resin, life is getting very vicious. I'm running from the stress and I'm suspicious of the stitches. People getting popped because my pop's locked away. I bottle popped the pain and pushed on. I wrote my pain inside the book, I wrote my words on. I used to sleep inside the booth and leave the hooks on. I used the basement as a blanket just to block out the wrongs. I knocked out a song like bang bang. Living life on the res, it's all the same thing. It's either prison or death, and that's the main pain. Because my mom used a meth and trying to maintain. I can't, the brain ain't the same, the basement.
Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Yeah. Hot summer nights and we're in the basement. Cold winter days and we're in the basement. Cold winter days and we're in the basement. Just cooking up that native mix. Cooking up that native mix. Trying to get this fire lit. Trying to get this fire lit. Yeah. Basements. Give it up for Rolly Rat. Make some noise one more.
Introducing Frank Waln. Round of applause for Frank Waln.
Thank you, Rolly. All right, so real quickly, you know that song Basements. I haven't got to perform with Colin in a long time, in many years. But like I said, him and I started out in Heat Dog together when I was like 14, and I got a summer youth program job with Sichungu Nation Employment and Training to work at Heat Dog School in the summertime, and I would save up money so I could build a studio. You know, nowadays things are a little bit differently. We have, hold on, I'm gonna handle this feedback. Let's give it up for Lila and Gunnar helping us out on the sound here. We're trying to make it all work together. Oh, you guys on? This one's feedback. Check 1 2, check 1 2. This one's better for me. Check, check, check. So this next song I'm gonna do is a song that's really important and special to me. And like I told you all, believe it or not, you know, I used to never believe in myself. Like we're talking about following your hearts and following your dreams. And I wish when I was your age, I would have been able to see something like this. See young Native people being successful, doing what they loved, and saying that you can achieve anything you want, even if you come from a place like this, because I used to not think I'd be able to make it. But one of the big reasons why I'm here is because of the women that raised me. And actually, I'm actually in this school because of one of the women that helped raise me. My Auntie Deb is actually principal, and she helped us set this up. But I also want to shout out my Auntie Totes is here, and my mom is here. Make some noise if you know my Auntie Totes or my mom, Mary Waln. They help out a lot of people. So this song I'm about to do is a song I wrote for my mom as a birthday present in 2011. I went to college out in Chicago, and I was there, and I was really lonely. I was missing home. I was missing all of you guys. I was missing my family. I was missing the res. And my mom's birthday was coming up, and I didn't have any money. I couldn't buy her anything. She doesn't like parties. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I decided to write her this song and release it on her birthday. Because much like, you know, everyone shared, my mom raised me by herself as a single parent. My mom and dad split up when I was 3. I used to live in St. Francis with my dad until we were 3, and then he bailed on me and my mom. And I didn't see him again for 12 years. And so my mom had to make a lot of sacrifices for me. You know, I wouldn't be standing here on this stage without her. I wouldn't have been able to get my degree without her. You know, last night, whenever we performed on the Yankton Res yesterday for Lake Andy School, and when we were driving here, we drove by Rosebud, and by where we have Rosebud Fair, and I pointed over there and I told Taniya, I actually quit music over there. I quit music a long time ago. I quit music many times, but one Rosebud Fair, I actually gave up because I felt like I wasn't going to make it. It was a time where things just weren't going right for me. It seemed like my music wasn't going to go anywhere, and I had a scholarship, so I decided I was just going to use it to become a doctor and to not go after my music. And I quit, and I gave up. But my mom encouraged me to keep going, and our brother Dre, who used to make music with us, also encouraged me to keep going. And I'm glad that there were people that told me to keep going the many times I quit. So I'm going to dedicate this song and do this song for my mom. This is called My Stone, because she's the one who made a lot of sacrifices for me to be here. And she taught me everything I know. This is My Stone. Check, 1, 2, check. 89, we say hello. He says goodbye, Daddy left when I was 3 and made us cry, you and I. Clyde and Bonnie of modern day, drama came and friends left, but Mama stayed through everything. All the fights and all the pain, all the change. I hate my dad, don't want his name. Told my mom that I'm a Waln, didn't understand all the things going on between her and my dad. But I was stubborn, I know that I make it hard. You always said, son, I know you're gonna make it far. Believe that, I need that in dark times. I think of what you did for me and my heart shines. You took my hand up this mountain, made it your climb. So when I shine, Mom, you shine. Yeah, a single mother with the odds stacked. You did your best. Lived all my life, just me and you. Times got tough and you see me through. Cause I ain't have a dad and we ain't have a plan. Raised by a woman who made me a man. I know I ain't home and your boy is grown. I need you to know that you're not alone. I can let it rock, but you will be my stone. Forever in my heart, you will be my stone. You're my stone. And you know, me and my mom's relationship was never perfect. She's not a perfect person, I'm not a perfect person. But our love is what got us through it. And we never gave up on each other, even when it got hard. And so I lean on that love to help me through hard times. You always gave me what I needed, somehow always found the time. Single parent, it's apparent that you stayed up on your grind. I remember you would put me first. It was hard, but you said, son, it could be worse. And you were right, it's funny, looking back, days were sunny. You kept me smiling even though we didn't have the money that other people did. Somehow you made it happen. I promised Mom that I'm gonna do it when I'm rapping. Cause you took me everywhere in my cap and my backpack. 20 years later now I'm rapping the snapbacks. I'm rocking the long braid. We came a long way. You kept me on the right road away from the wrong way. Forever I'm grateful for the life you gave. The tears that we cried, the sacrifice you made. Yeah, single mother with the odds stacked. You did your best. One day I'll bring it all back. With all my life, just me and you. Times got tough and you see me through. I ain't have a dad, we ain't have a plan. Raised by a woman, you made me a man. I know I ain't home and your boy's grown. I need you to know that you're not alone. I can let it rock, but you will be my stone. Forever in my heart, you will be my stone. You're my stone. To every young man listening in the crowd, every boy, every young man listening, I want you to not hurt women. Don't be violent to women. Don't hurt our women. I've witnessed men hurt the women I loved my whole life. And I often think about how much easier our lives would be if we were just better relatives to each other every day and worked on that every day to be better relatives to each other. I dedicate that song to my mom, Mary Waln, my auntie Totes Waln, she's here, my auntie Debbie Jo, she's here, all of my aunties that aren't here, my grandma, all of the Lakota grandmas, mothers, sisters, aunties that are the backbones of our nation and are the reason people are here. I want to acknowledge my mom. Mom, can you stand up and could everyone give my mom a round of applause for everything she's ever done? She worked at this school for 12 years. I remember running around SF for a little kid. I never thought in a million years I'd be able to perform in front of this school and dedicate a song to you, Mom. But I just want you to know that I love you, and I want everyone listening to do a better job at respecting each other as relatives. Right now, we're gonna bring up Gunnar. We're going to bring up my brother, Gunnar Koopman. Gunnar and I have known each other since we were in elementary school. Let's give it up for Gunnar.
Albitakepi, Yushkan Wachanke, Nape Chus Atalo. Akichta Wase Luta Machatalo. Hihani Washte. How many of you can relate to everything that's kind of been talked about, you know, with Paul? You know, there's a lot of parallels that everybody goes through, and a lot of similarities, and I know I can relate to having an absent father. I can relate to going through and witnessing abuse to women. I can relate to being a young man and not being able to express myself in a good way. And it's crazy. I mean, just to kind of talk about my path, and you guys might see me back here. I work for a program called Shichangu MVP, and I've been back here in the community. You know, living back here, I live in St. Francis, so I live here. And originally I'm from Horse Creek community. My mom, my grandfather, the Tuhawk, Lambert family, and my dad's Krogman. And then Gunnar is actually my grandma's last name. That's what I'm named after. So I started making music. It's kind of weird because how many of you guys wanted to sports? You guys play sports, and that kind of seems like the only way that we can feel really accepted and brought into certain crowds is because we play sports and we're involved in those things. And how many of you liked art? Any kind of art, drawing, even writing poetry, painting, making music? How many of you guys are inspired because of Frank to make music? There's a lot of young people in the crowd, and there's high schoolers who are kind of the in-between. And so I started making music, you know, after growing up, and sports kind of saved me because a lot of those coaches were my role models and my influences and kind of kept me on track. My mom, big thanks to her, she kept me sheltered for the most part, and I was really, I moved around a lot whenever I was little. Horse Creek. Real quick, how many of you guys move around a lot? You're used to packing up and leaving your house and moving to a different spot. You might be staying with family members. You know, so that's one thing that I experienced growing up. We were always moving. I had no stability. I have nothing from my childhood to really remember anything. So, you know, those types of things, and just there's so many things that we experience here on the Rosebud Reservation, just living here, that we think is normal, but really as we grow older, that's going to impact us in the future as adults. So it's not normal to move around all the time, from house to house, sleeping on couches, on floors, but it is. It is here, but it's not normal to be violent to each other. Even as kids, as young men, young women, you know, I work with young boys every day, and they're always punching each other and just doing little things that is actually violence to each other. And they just don't know how to interact, and we were never really taught how a healthy friendship, relationship is supposed to be growing up. So I'm just touching on a lot of those. I mean, there's so many other things too. There's abuse, you know, there's sexual abuse, there's suicide, there's neglect. Some of us are starving. I know we have these traumatic times during our life where it's really rough. How many of you guys know how to survive, know how to rough it? If you don't have anything, you guys had to figure it out, even as a young person. How real is that? Almost, I mean, more than half for sure. So we've been through that. Struggle with my mom. There's times we didn't have electricity, didn't have warm water, so we filled up a bucket and put it out in the sun to have a hot bath. Living out in the country, you know, those are just real struggles, but it was okay because we made it, we survived, and we are really resilient as a people to make it through those types of things. And yeah, just I think I see a really big change. You know, you guys have role models like this to look up to. If you're on social media, you know, make sure you're following the right people. If you want to follow all the mainstream rappers and stuff, you're not gonna. It's relatable because they've been through struggles, but we have a unique struggle here that's unlike anywhere else in the country. Our statistics are doubled, pretty much to national averages. So we have to work, we have to counter that by noticing that, knowing that we have to be good relatives. How many of you guys are ever told to be a good relative to each other? I know that's a big thing in schools, we're talking about these relations. And how many were ever heard, actually I just heard yesterday, but it was interesting because they said, what does it mean to be a good ancestor right now? Are you being a good ancestor today to all the people who are going to follow you and people who you're going to influence? All these young people in the crowd look up to the older kids. How are you guys influencing them? So I don't know, so that's always on my mind. I work with young men every day and we talk about those things. So I just wanted to touch on some of those topics that are sensitive, hard to even listen to, but it's a reality here. But music has drawn me to be able to talk about those things. Anyway, how many of you guys know how to cry? How many of you guys cry often? How many of you, okay, hands down, how many of you were told not to cry growing up? You know, be tough. Every mom, dad, they're like, shh, you know, they're shushing their babies, but you shouldn't shush them from crying. You know, that's something, so I still don't know how to cry. I have the ugliest cry face, I think. So, just because I hold it in, and music helps me release that, art helps me release that. Art is really embedded in our culture, our historical culture, but we don't have anything to do here. You know, we have some great art teachers, great artists. I've met so many outside of Rosebud who are being successful doing art. We don't have nothing here. If you guys want to paint something, where are you going to get the tools? So art really saved me, and I just wanted to share one of my songs with you. It's called Energies. And really it's just about being able to turn those hard times and being able to bring out the positive energies. And that's what music has done for me. And can I have everybody, so we're going to draw that positive energy. Let's have everybody stand up. You've been sitting a long time. So this is the song Energies. So everybody real quick, take a deep breath with me. Breathe in all that good stuff. Now breathe out all that stuff that you worry about, all those stressors. You know, all that stress is gone. Let's have good energies. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. Up a little bit. Okay, this is the story, ready? Yeah, I stayed up pretty late, jaded from the long wait, dog. Maybe hating like they don't make mistakes. California Caymans trying to get paid, dog. Living, giving back for the fam I never trade, fam I never trade. Made it work all alone, yeah. Now my team has a dream, we just keep it on the low. And they go like, where am I gonna be? I don't know, but my energies let it flow. My energies let it flow. Yeah, yeah, my energies let it flow. My energies let it flow. music in the basement. Yeah, it's so cliche. And my brother, I grew up poor, but hey, not much for entertainment. We're always bored as hell. And then I jacked an apple, now my music's up for sale. My brother's dope enough, he's always in and out of jail. And if he cleaned it up, he'd try and get a record deal. I swear there's so much talent out here on the reservation. These kids with stories to tell, with no expectations. But my energies, let it flow. My energies, let it flow. Yeah! Yeah, if you guys catch on, sing it. But my energies, let it flow. My energies, let it flow. Listen, yeah. Even from a young age, I knew to pray and to pay homage. I knew home as a place I felt most safe. I knew not to judge the homeless, knew to never be hopeless. Even as a youngin', I knew not to get comfortable, cause we're always on the move. I swear we moved at least 25 times by the time I hit middle school. But what's new, what didn't kill me made me stronger. I am where I am in life because I belong here. Yeah. Everybody clap your hands. Yeah. Listen. But my energies, let it flow. My energies, let it flow. Alright, if you know it, sing it with me. But my energies, let it flow. My energies, let it flow. Keep clapping, yeah. But my energies, let it flow. My energies, let it flow. Ooh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Alright, give it up for Gunnar one more time. Alright, so that actually concludes our concert for you all. So I want to thank you guys all for coming in. I know we had a late start, but we're going to do one more thing before we leave, because we want to remember your beautiful faces. We want to remember today. This is a really special place for me. This is home. We're going to come down on the floor and we're going to take like a selfie with you guys, so everyone can stand up, and we're going to try to get like a crowd selfie, like a USFI, so we could post it on our social media, so we could show the world where we were at this morning, okay? So we're going to come down on the floor here and take a selfie with you all. Okay, we got some free CDs. If you want free CDs, you gotta come check these guys out. We only got so many, sorry we weren't able to bring enough for everyone, but we're gonna throw them out there. We wanna say thank you to the school, thank you to Auntie Deb, Joe, thank you to everyone who helped us get in here. Thank you to Colin and the tribe and Gunnar for giving us the sound system. Thank you to you all for being here and being alive.
Thank you, Dream Warriors. Thank you, St. Francis Indian School.